In 1988, some people suddenly started bleeding. At this time, police officer Thomas Lockhart promises that someday he will become a detective and will work only during the day, but for now, he and his partner Maddox patrol the night streets. Having taken up their shift, they go to the scene of the accident. Tom begins the examination and notices that all the brains of the victims have flowed out, and there are marks from injections on their necks. Detective Holt, who is Tom's wife's brother and strongly dislikes his relative, arrives. The detective does not like that the patrolman is trying to do his job. Besides, that night there were too many similar cases. Tom persuades his partner to visit other crime scenes. Holt is forced to admit that the deaths are connected when Tom finds similar wounds on each of the victims. The pathologist concludes that they all died from an isotope unknown to him. The patrolmen receive reports of an attack. A girl at the scene says that she was attacked by a young African-American woman with a wounded arm. Holt arrives at the scene and begins questioning, but the victim starts bleeding and falls. The entire city police force begins searching for the attacker. Tom spots her on the street and starts the chase. The criminal disappears into the subway. Tom follows the trail. The girl loses the device she used to give those strange injections. Maddox tries to detain her, but the girl turns out to be incredibly strong. She easily overpowers and wounds the policeman. Tom appears on the platform and aims at her, but she suddenly calls the man by name. She congratulates him on the birth of his daughter, apologizes for his partner, and suddenly attacks Tom. The girl leaves and promises that they will meet soon, but Tom manages to stab her with a stun gun, causing the girl to lose her balance and fall right under the train. Tom is very impressed by this outcome and cannot come to his senses. A message arrives that his wife is giving birth, and the guy rushes to the hospital. One of the detectives tries to take a statement from him because strange keys were found in the criminal's pocket. In addition, the deceased was wounded from a police revolver, but Tom did not shoot and cannot say how this happened. At this moment, Tom is informed that his wife has complications. He runs to the ward and gives the bracelet he bought, but the woman loses consciousness, and later he learns that his wife gave birth to a daughter, but died. 9 years have passed. People have not forgotten the incident in protest against police brutality. Tom and his daughter Emma go to their mother's grave and find a fresh bouquet there, which surprises Tom very much. But then he gets a call about another fatal incident, and he has to go there, because now he is a detective. It turns out that the deceased has fabric on his neck and exactly the same marks as 9 years ago. Apparently, an imitator has appeared. Holt, who has risen to the rank of lieutenant, also arrives at the scene. The men discuss what happened when the police see a dark-skinned girl with a bandaged hand on CCTV footage. A shocked Tom returns to the department and takes out a box containing evidence from the previous case. Tom tells Maddox about the girl's promise to see him again. He asks the duty officer to track down the strange keys that were found on the girl back then. News about several dead people whose deaths are completely identical is shown on TV. Holt shows people a photo of the criminal. The police investigate the case and cause even more unrest in the city, but no trace of the criminal is found. Tom remembers that they did not inform the press about the girl's wounded hand. It is unclear how the impersonator could have found out about this. At this time, the duty officer brings information about a key made in 1996 for an airplane that is at the airfield. People do not understand how the key ended up in 1988. Tom and Maddox go to the airfield, but in the corridor they are stopped by physicist Navin Rao, who is convinced that time travel has occurred. This happens during a certain lunar cycle, but Maddox and Tom ignore this crazy idea. They arrive at the airfield, but the gates are closed. Tom jumps over the fence and finds an employee, to whom he shows a photo of the suspect. The man claims that he has not seen this girl and points to someone hiding behind the wall, the same girl he saw 9 years ago. The girl orders to tie up the policeman, but he manages to call Maddox. The guy hears their conversation, in which the girl confirms that she is dead. Then the criminal takes the keys to the plane. The girl fights back and shoots Maddox, who came up from behind. Police cars arrive at the airfield and the girl takes Tom hostage. During the flight, she asks to stop pursuing her because she saves lives. Every 9 years at the setting of the moon, she can return. Therefore, she knows what will happen to him next. She asks him to stop, return to his daughter, and arrange his life, after which she throws him out of the plane. Tom falls into the water and the criminal disappears. The plane crashes on the shore, but there is no one inside. Holt announces a search, but Tom is sure that it will not give anything. Because the girl came from the future, another 9 years pass. In 2006, Tom is persistently engaged in solving this case, and one day he discovers a previously unregistered victim of 1988. The man goes to his wife, who says that her husband led a nationalist group. The woman gives him the materials of the deceased, where he finds a photo of the nationalist assistant and a mailing list of his works. Tom understands that the followers of the ideas of racial purity died. Later, he goes to meet his daughter, who now lives with her uncle's family. He gives another pendant for the bracelet the girl hasn't worn for a long time. Then Tom meets Holt and tells him about his discovery. All the victims were connected by their participation in a radical terrorist organization. The suspect girl moves back in time as the whole world moves forward and destroys the members of the group. However, Holt rejects this theory and insists that the man get psychiatric help. Tom realizes that he cannot convince the officer and steals his badge. The man uses it and finds out the address of the nationalist leader's ex-girlfriend. He goes to her house and finds the woman's body with the same wounds as the others. The man manages to see the criminal and wounds her in the arm, but the girl gets on a motorcycle and drives away. Tom pursues her in a car. They drive off-road for a long time, but the girl turns into the territory of an abandoned enterprise where the car cannot go. He has to pursue her on foot. After a while, he sees her disappear into a pipe leading to the seashore. Tom climbs after her and ends up in a cave, in the middle of which there is a machine that most likely moves aliens from the future. Then he gets out to the shore, where Holt is waiting for him. Tom tries to explain that this is where the girl received the wound that she had all these years, but the policeman does not want to listen to his nonsense. Holt arrests Tom, while Rao watches this from the shore. Another 9 years pass. In 2015, Dr. Rao continues his experiments and develops the very medicine with which the alien from the future destroys nationalists. At this moment, he is informed about the appearance of Tom on the shore, who intends to track down the criminal. The man receives a voice message from Amy asking him to come to the birth of her child and reunite with his family. Suddenly, he is kidnapped by Rao, who takes the man away in his van and confesses to developing the technology that the woman from the future uses to destroy others. Now he considers her case justified, since she will attack those because of whom a new confrontation will begin within the country. While the scientist is discussing the role of the moon and what is happening, Tom manages to free himself and escape. He then meets the girl on the shore when she arrives from the future. Tom intends to destroy her, and then everything will change. The girl confirms this, but the world will also perish. Her name is Raya. She is his granddaughter. It was Tom who raised her. As proof, the girl shows the bracelet. Tom admits that he destroyed her 27 years ago, but Raya cannot change anything until she completes the mission. She asks Tom to go home and take care of them. Raya says that when she was 9 years old, one of the terrorists detonated a nuclear bomb, after which there was a confrontation within the country. One person was to blame, who introduced terrible ideas into the heads of his followers. Dr. Rao found a way to change the future by influencing the past remotely. Raya travels back in time and injects the targets with an isotope, which Rao activates in the future. He gradually erases the terrorist attack and the subsequent events from the timeline. After learning about everything, Tom goes to the hospital and reunites with his family, because it is he who will have to raise Raya to be the savior of the world.